Today, my brothers, we're going to talk about the feeling of being completely and utterly overwhelmed. That moment when a crisis hits and the sheer scale of the problem paralyzes you. Your business is failing, your relationship is on the rocks, your life is falling apart, and you're frozen. You're standing at the base of a massive, terrifying mountain, and the summit is so far away you can't even see it. So you do nothing. You just stare at the mountain until it crushes you. This is the fog of war. It's the moment in a battle when the noise, the chaos, and the sheer number of threats overwhelm an untrained soldier. They freeze. They panic. They swing wildly. They are defeated not by the enemy, but by their own overwhelmed mind. But a trained warrior is different. A true warrior has a secret. They have a technique for staying calm and effective in the heart of absolute chaos. And the greatest warrior-philosopher of them all, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, gave us that secret. He wasn't just an emperor. He was a battle-hardened general who spent years of his life on the brutal frontiers of the empire. He knew the fog of war intimately, and from that experience, he distilled a tactical command for navigating not just the battlefield, but life itself. He wrote in his private journal, The Meditations, that you have to assemble your life action by action and be content if each one achieves its goal. This is not a gentle suggestion. This is a command from a general. It is the ultimate strategy for how to be unshakable when everything is falling apart. Let's break down the tactics. Part 1. Assemble your life action by action. This is the principle of microscopic focus. The untrained mind, the civilian mind, makes a critical error in a crisis. It looks at the whole problem at once. I need to save my company. I need to get over this devastating breakup. I need to build a great life. These goals are huge, terrifying, and abstract. They are so big that they paralyze you. You don't know where to start, so you don't start at all. The Stoic warrior's mind does the opposite. It ruthlessly shrinks the battlefield. It ignores the war and focuses on the single, immediate fight in front of it. They don't think, we have to win this entire battle. They think, I have to hold my shield in this position for the next 10 seconds. They think, I have to make this one spear thrust as perfectly as I can. They think, I have to take that next single step forward. They assemble a victory, action by action. This is what modern psychology calls chunking. You take a massive, overwhelming task and you break it down into the smallest possible manageable units. You don't write a book. You write one good sentence. You don't run a marathon. You run to the next lamppost. You don't fix your life. You take the next right action. The ultimate historical example of this mindset is the Spartan warriors. At the Battle of Thermopylae, a tiny force of Greeks, led by 300 Spartans, faced a Persian army that was orders of magnitude larger. If they had focused on the big picture, on the overwhelming odds, they would have been paralyzed by despair. But that wasn't the Spartan way. Their entire lives were a training regimen in breaking down combat into a series of perfected actions. Their job was not to defeat the Persian Empire. Their job was to hold their position in the pass, to lock their shield with the man next to them, to execute the next block, the next thrust, with perfect discipline. They assembled one of the most legendary military stands in history, not by thinking about the war, but by focusing on the fight that was right in front of them, action by action. Part 2. And be content if each one achieves its goal. This is the second and more profound part of the command. This is the part that contains the secret to being unshakable. What is the goal of each action? A normal person would say the goal of the spear thrust is to kill the enemy. The goal of the business call is to make the sale. The goal of the difficult conversation is to get the other person to agree with you. This, the Stoics say, is a rookie mistake. All of those outcomes, whether the enemy dies, whether the client buys, Whether your partner agrees or external, they are not entirely within your control. If you tie your contentment, your inner peace, to these external outcomes, you are giving the world the power to break you. You will be constantly anxious and never unshakable. The Stoic warrior redefines the goal. The goal of each action is not the external result. The goal is to perform the action itself with maximum effort and complete virtue. The goal of the spear thrust is not to kill, but to thrust with perfect form, courage, and discipline. The goal of the business call is not to get the yes, but to make the call with honesty, professionalism, and excellence. The goal of the difficult conversation is not to win the argument, but to speak your truth with courage and listen with patience. This is a revolution in your thinking. You shift your metric of success from something you can't control, the outcome, to the one thing you can always control, your own action. When you do this, you become psychologically invincible. If you perform the action with virtue, you have succeeded. You have achieved the goal. The external result is secondary. This focus on the process, on the quality of the immediate action, is what modern psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi called the flow state. When you are completely absorbed in the present task, focused on the intrinsic quality of your performance rather than the future outcome, your sense of self dissolves, time disappears, and you perform at your absolute peak. The anxiety of the big picture fades away. This is the mental state of the elite athlete, the master musician, and the Stoic warrior. This wisdom is not unique to the Stoics. On the other side of the world, the legendary undefeated samurai swordsman Musashi Miyamoto taught the exact same principle in his classic text, The Book of Five Rings. His entire philosophy of combat was about achieving a calm, unbothered spirit by focusing on the fundamentals, the rhythm, and the perfection of the immediate action. You don't worry about winning or losing the duel. You focus on executing one perfect cut. Victory is a byproduct of that focus. Both the Roman emperor and the Japanese swordsman, the two greatest warrior philosophers, came to the same conclusion. In chaos, shrink your focus to the next right action, and be content if you execute it well. So, how do we apply this in the chaos of our own lives? When your business is failing, when everything is falling apart, the unstoic mind is paralyzed by the huge, abstract problem. I have to save the company. The Stoic warrior asks, what is the one right action I can take in the next hour? And then they do it. They make one sales call. They fix one bug. They have one honest conversation with an employee. They don't try to save the company. They try to perform the next action with excellence. And they assemble the company's survival, action by action. When you're going through a devastating breakup, the world feels like it's over. The unstoic mind is lost in the huge, abstract pain. How will I ever recover from this? The Stoic warrior asks, what is the one right action I can take right now to assemble my life? And they do it. Get out of bed. Take a shower. Go for a walk. Call one friend. They don't try to heal their entire heart. They focus on winning the next 5 minutes, and they assemble their recovery, action by action. This is the Stoic art of being unshakable. It is the ability to remain calm and effective in the heart of the storm by ruthlessly focusing your mind on the only thing that matters, the next step. So, let's bring it all together. The modern world tells you to multitask, to think big picture, to have a 10-year plan. And when a crisis hits, this mindset causes you to be overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the chaos. The Stoic warrior's secret is the opposite. It is the art of microscopic focus. Shrink the battlefield down to the 3 feet in front of you. Shrink the timeline down to the next 5 minutes. The victory is not found at the distant summit of the mountain. The victory is found in taking the next right step, right here, right now. You just have to do that over and over again. That's it. That is the whole path. Remember the general's command, the tactical instruction for a good life, forged in the chaos of a real war. You have to assemble your life action by action, and be content if each one achieves its goal. Stop looking at the whole mountain. Stop being terrified by the size of the storm. Just focus on taking the next step. Assemble your greatness, action by action. Thank you for joining us at the Inner Citadel. If this helped you find your focus in the fog of war, hit the like button and subscribe for more tools to build an unshakable mind. We'll see you next time.